Here's Jack Musa on the breakaway, looking for two, he's got it! Jack Musa across to O'Hara, he scores! That's a program record for point streak! Here's Donflush Mills on the doorstep, they score!
Hello everyone and welcome to the 5th episode of the UMass Hockey Preview Show presented by UMass Journalism. I'm Jacob Repper.
And I'm John Ruggiero. Thanks for joining us here on YouTube. On this show, we'll break down the split against the University of Nebraska, Omaha, take a look at our breakout watch, and then do a deep dive into the upcoming series against the Cornell Big Red.
Well, what a weekend it was for us. We traveled out to Nebraska, called 2 great games, barely made it back on time in our flight from Atlanta, Georgia. Now we're here, John.
Yeah, Jacob had to run through the Atlanta airport, but it was all worth it. What a great time we had in Omaha. Baxter Arena was jumping. It was lively. Awesome stuff in Nebraska.
Well, the Minutemen, they came into Baxter Arena 4-1, trying to find their footing after a split the weekend before. Let's take a look at how it all went down in Game 1.
Right into it here, Jacob. Omaha actually took the lead to start in the first 2 minutes. Landon Nyes turns it over, then Luke Woodworth takes advantage. The freshman makes it 1-0.
Just a few minutes later, UMass trying to answer back. It's the Michigan State transfer streaking in. Mikey D'Angelo makes it 1-1.
And then UMass on the power play. Larry Heenan, he takes the one-time shot right there, gives UMass the lead not even 8 minutes into the game.
Another transfer gets his name on the stat sheet. It's Owen Mellenbacher from deep. What a great goal for him. UMass goes up 3-1.
What a screen there from Elias Zimmerman in front, Jacob, creating that chance. But then Omaha in the second period roared back like they never have before. Maxime Pellerin off a shot from the point makes it 3-2.
And Omaha starting to get things going for them. Down just 1 goal. Second period, 6:25 left. It's a goal from Tyler Rollwagon. He ties it up. A big one for him there in the second period.
And then when the game's tied 3-3 going into the third, Maxime Pellerin again off the net mouth scramble takes the lead for the Mavericks as Baxter Arena goes nuts.
4-3, 8:45 left. Who does it? It's Cam O'Neill. His first goal in quite a while electrifies the Minutemen. He ties it up 4-4.
And then Jack Musa blocks a shot right there, comes down the ice on the 2-on-1 under a minute to go here. Broken play, backhands it right into the goal. Jack Musa, 5-4, the game-winning goal.
Now, despite the great performance from Musa and the game-winning goal, he faced some criticism actually earlier in the week from Coach Carvel and the other assistant coaches. Here's what he had to say after the game.
Carvel said you've been hearing it over the week in practice. Would you say that's true, and how did you try and respond to that?
Yeah, I'd say I've been getting squeezed a little bit this week, so I kind of just went out, played my game, put my head down, and felt like I had a pretty good game today.
What do you mean by getting squeezed?
Like all the coaches are kind of on you, letting you hear it when you're not playing that good.
How do you handle that?
Kind of just take it day by day in practice, just work on the little things and make sure you're doing every detail right.
Game 2, however, was a different story for the Minutemen. Omaha, they scored 2 goals in the first period, but give UMass credit, they rallied back to tie it at 2, but Nebraska Omaha, they pulled away, scoring 3 in the third, beating the Minutemen 5-2. Now, this wasn't a good game for the Minutemen, a lot of defensive mistakes, but offensively, they did some nice things. We'll take a look at the power play here. Now, face-offs to the left in the offensive zone, it's Jack Kalanick, the freshman. Great on the dot. He does a good job winning it back for the Minutemen. We'll pause it right here now. In a power play, you have the extra attacker, 2-on-1 board battles, you should win, and they do so right here. It's Yenchko tied up, and what does he do? We'll roll it here. Wins the puck, does a great job. Gets it back up top to the point in Del Elche. We'll stop it right there. So Del Elche, he's going to make a D-to-D pass. This right here, look at this. This is Jack Kalanick, the shifty, dynamic freshman. And now Omaha, they have a chance. They have a choice, that is. They can bring 2 to Kalanick, or they can bring 1. We'll take a look at what happens here. Kalanick going to drive wide to the outside, and then we're going to roll it from here. Pause right there. And we'll back it up just a hair. This is just gorgeous hockey right here. 5-on-4. We'll pause it, keep it going just a hair, and there it is right here. Take a look at this. Look at this triangle. And who's going to squeak free? Jack Musa. Look at this guy right here. He's going to curl up right in that triangle, make himself a home for himself. Kalanick sees the open forward in Nestersil, and when the puck on Nestersil's stick, he's going to do a lot of good things. Now, he has a couple options here. He can pass it to Jack Musa, who's wide open, or if he has a little bit more time, Yenchko, because he's right here, because he's in open space, being a threat, this defender right here has to stay back. He doesn't know, should he step up, should he lay back? And we'll roll it here and see exactly what happened. Gallant makes the pass, Nestor still feeds it out front. That's called tic-tac-toe. The Minutemen score, and it was a great power play goal for them. Now, you know what we're going to do, John? We're going to do a little bit of a line change. I'm going to go to the bench. You're going to come in here, and we'll take a look at the Mavericks game-winning goal.
Thank you, Jacob. Hand you the iPad, and I'm going to just take care of my pen right here to bring it up top to my side. So this is going to be the game-winning goal for the Omaha Mavericks, 2-2 in the third period. And we're going to start right here on the face-off draw. Red pen, Olvestad. He is on the right side of the ice. Typically, he's a left defenseman. You see his left-handed shot there. And his partner, Owen Murray, he's going to be on the left. Clearly, this is some sort of face-off lineup. Perhaps Galenic going to try and win it back to Murray to go it out quickly. Same with Olvestad, whichever way they're trying to win it. So those two jumbled up. We'll keep that in mind as we roll a clip here. Galenic loses the face-off, quick shot off the draw. We'll stop it right there. You see Olvestad, he was here, and now he's over here. This is Lucas Olvestad trying to go back to his traditional left D spot. And then Owen Murray, who was originally here, he's going to cycle up this way. So that's what UMass has going for them in this one. Galenic is well going to be in front, and all that is going to leave some open space on the ice right in this area, especially up the middle here. And that's going to allow for Miles Hillman to get around Vaslav Nestrasil here as we roll the clip. And stop it one more time. Look at this. 4 guys on the left side of the zone for UMass. 1, 2, 3, 4. That leaves poor Vaslav Nestrasil out to dry towards the top of the zone here, and that's going to allow Miles Hillman to turn the corner and get this juicy rebound that Michael Rabel lets up here. And what a brilliant goal from Miles Hillman. Gives Omaha the lead. Michael Rabel, not the best rebound control, didn't kick it out a lot, but we'll stop it here. Roll it back just a hair if we can. Look at Olvestad, Galenic, double teaming this man right here. And that's not ideal because that leaves Hillman wide open. And Greg Carville, he talked about this post-game, said that the game-winning goal happened when the top D pair is on the ice. He talked about that and a couple other things. Take a listen.
I was a little worried about us starting the game like that tonight. I knew UNO was going to come out angry, and I thought I did everything I could to get our guys prepared to play, but just mentally not ready. So the first 20 minutes were a wash. We gave up 2 goals, take undisciplined penalties, and started playing in the second period, and I really liked the way we were playing. I thought the momentum was swinging our way. Tie the game, a beautiful power play goal, and then their game-winning goal was a little frustrating that we had our top defensive pair out there, and the kid gets a tap in. We played 30 good minutes, but that wasn't going to be enough tonight.
We're already 7 games into the season, and we've highlighted some big-time scores, some pleasant surprises. But, John, let's take a look at somebody that's on our breakout watch for this season.
Yeah, Jacob, that's going to be none other than Cam O'Neill. The Senators draft pick, he's been solid in the first 4 games, 3 points, and he got his first goal since the Sacred Heart series of last year. And he's a battler. He's a warrior, as Greg Carville described him. Obviously went through a handful of injuries last season, but he continues to find a way, trying to will his way to a chance potentially in the NHL with the Senators.
And we caught the Senators draft pick earlier in the week, got a chance to talk to him. Here's what he had to say.
And obviously, it was great to get the first goal in so long, and last year was definitely tough injury-wise. So just being able to come back and help the team, and get the monkey off the back. Hopefully, that'll help me get some more goals. But I just think the way I play, just try to work as hard as I can, whether I'm scoring or not. Just trying to help the team by doing whatever I can.
Now we'll take a look at this week. UMass welcomes a strong ECAC opponent to the Mullins Center in the number 20 ranked team in the USCHO, this being the Cornell Big Red. Now, the Big Red, they're coming off a season in which they went 19-11-6. They won the ECAC championship, upset the number 1 team in the nation in Michigan State before losing to Boston University 3-2 in the second round. As for the offseason, it was difficult for Cornell. They lost 13 players, but they return a handful of veterans along with some real promising freshmen and transfers, John.
Yeah, Jacob, top 10 youngest team right here, 21 and a half years old. So not exactly ideal, but They've got a handful of young freshmen, more than UMass. UMass had 8 freshmen. We thought that was a lot. Cornell has 12, and they bring in 2 transfers, Michael Fisher from Northeastern a couple seasons ago, and then Luke Ashton from Minnesota State. Both are very capable forwards, Jacob.
And they are certainly capable. This offense, they're young and talented, but the defense, John, is the backbone of this team. They boast 5 defensemen drafted into the NHL, highlighted by 2 third-round draft picks, and they'll look to build off a great season last year in which they averaged just 2.3 goals against average. It was a great defensive unit, and they're led by, John, a new goaltender from last year.
Yeah, Ian Shane, he graduated, and the goaltending tandem is up in the air as of right now, as far as we know. Shane, he played over 100 games, posted a 185 goals against average in his career. He moved on to the ECHL. So Cornell has brought in 2 freshman goaltenders, and we'll have to see who starts on Friday night.
And we got the chance this week to talk to student journalist and contributor to the Cornell Daily Sun, Jane McNally. Take a look. Jane, how's everything going?
Pretty good. How about you guys?
Doing pretty good.
Yeah, doing pretty good here on the UMass Hockey Preview Show. Jane, just want to ask you a couple questions. Thanks for joining the show here. Just want to see what your expectations are coming into this year for the Cornell Big Red.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having me, guys. Yeah, it's definitely a very different team than than who has been on the ice the past couple of years. I know UMass and Cornell have played the last 2 years, but this year's roster, there was a ton of turnover for the Big Red. They've got 14 new guys, including 12 freshmen, 2 transfer defensemen, and as well as they're going to have a new face in net after the graduation of Ian Shane. So yeah, a lot of new faces, but I think it won't be a very different style of play that we see. Casey Jones likes a quick style, defensive style, so probably very similar style of play that we've seen in years past, but definitely a lot of new faces getting in on the score sheet.
What can you tell us about the goaltending situation? I know you guys had 2 exhibition games. You won both of those, but you have any inclination on who's going to start this weekend?
Yeah, so the way it worked with the exhibition games was there's 2 main guys battling for the starters crease. It's senior Remington Keppel. He's come in a few times over his last 3 years, mostly in relief for Shane. He's gotten a couple starts. He started the first exhibition game, played about 31 minutes, and then turned it over to our freshman, Alexi Cornwallet. He's one of our CHL recruits. He played last year in the QMJHL for Cape Breton. He played about 29 minutes in that first one, and then it was basically switched for our second exhibition against the national team development program. So honestly, I haven't gotten any real indication of who is going to be starting that game, but it will definitely be one of those 2 guys. Cornell is carrying 4 goalies, so they have depth at the position, but those 2 have kind of separated themselves from the pack. And honestly, time will only tell. Casey Jones was on a radio show earlier today, just about an hour ago, and he wasn't able to reveal the starter. So expect it to be one of those 2 guys, and I wouldn't be surprised personally if we saw both of them this weekend.
Great to know. Thank you. Thank you. I just wanted to get your thoughts on brand new head coach Casey Jones before we started rolling here. You said he's an open book. So what have you seen from him so far?
Yeah, Casey's great. He has a tremendous amount of experience. I know he's technically a first-year head coach for Cornell, but he spent 13 years as the head coach of Clarkson, and I think 13 years at Ohio State as an assistant and associate. And last year was an associate under head coach Mike Schaefer, and had a couple stints with Cornell in between Ohio State and Clarkson. So long story short, he is no stranger to Cornell, no stranger to coaching. He's a great guy. He has a lot of familiarity with the program, especially after last year working as an associate. But yeah, I expect nothing but great things with Casey taking over for Schaefer.
What can you tell me about your lead returning scorer, Ryan Walsh? I know he's a big guy for you guys. You expect that kind of output from last year to this year as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Walsh is our captain this year, captain for Cornell. So He's taken on a bigger role both on and off the ice, now with wearing a letter as a junior. He will definitely be one of Cornell's biggest assets, both on both sides of the puck. He plays on the top power play unit and the top penalty kill unit. So you can expect him to be all over the ice. He's a 6th-round pick by the Boston Bruins in the 23 NHL draft. He's got a great shot that was on display during the exhibition games, and he really just has a knack for finding the space, and he plays a tight defensive game as well. Especially with losing Dalton Bancroft to the NHL last year, he will definitely be one of the main guys I expect to take a big step offensively.
All right, Jane, last question here. Obviously, this upcoming weekend, the first real games for Cornell. So do you have any perhaps score predictions or any real expectations for the first games this weekend? Obviously, a ranked matchup.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to be a great matchup. Obviously, it's two of the tallest teams in college hockey, I believe. So it's going to be a couple of really big physical teams, and I expect that style of play to translate. The last couple games between Cornell and UMass have been pretty close, so I would expect a close game. Maybe around 2 to 3 goals for each team. Time will tell, but I definitely expect a close one. I think these two teams will be pretty evenly matched, especially with how big both of them are. And yeah, it should be a really great ranked matchup, like you said.
Are you making the trip out to Amherst at all?
No, unfortunately, I won't be there, but I'll be watching for sure.
All right, maybe next time. That's Jane McNally, contributor to the Cornell Daily Sun, student journalist. Thanks for your time, Jane.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Now let's take a look at the players to watch for the Cornell Big Red. You can't miss their lead returning scorer, Ryan Walsh.
Yeah, Jacob, Ryan Walsh coming in as a junior. 31 points last season, and his 3 power play goals led the team. One of the best face-off men, top 10 in conference. And, of course, he's a Burns draft pick, so those of you in the Massachusetts area, keep an eye on this guy. He is someone who could make an impact on Friday.
And we talked about how great the defense is. They're led by Hoyt Stanley, the junior defenseman, 6'3", 200 pounds. Last year, 13 points in 35 games played, 44 blocks, however. That led the team. He's a gritty, tenacious defender. And he's a Senators draft pick, 4th-round draft, and he's got a really good counterpart over in George Fagaris.
Yeah, he's a 3rd-round draft pick for the Dallas Stars. He missed the first 3 weeks due to injury last season, but he was still able to finish with 14 points and 17 blocks, and on a team that has a bunch of freshmen, your junior defensemen who are both drafted are going to provide some great leadership for this team.
Certainly, it should be fun. You excited?
Oh, yeah. I'm excited. Mullen Center, back home in Amherst. Should be a fun one.
Let's do it. That is all from us here at the UMass Hockey Preview Show. I'm Jacob Repper.
And I'm John Ruggiero. Thank you for joining us this week. Next week, we'll tune in to break down the result versus Cornell and preview 2 ferocious games against the Maine Black Bears. We'll see you then.